Happy Monday. How's everyone today? I'm glad you're here. We are starting our second to last week here at in class, and I'm looking forward to working through this last chapter here, these last two sections. We are on chapter 14. And the beginning of chapter 14, basically this was on mortgages, which we know is the present value annuity formula that we're dealing with. But in the first part of chapter 14, we dealt with determining the payment and interest for a mortgage. We used tables to do that. We then did a partial amortization schedule. So we learned how to use the amortization schedule and the amortization table to create one that showed how much interest and how much principal you were paying each month to know what your outstanding balance is after each payment. We also practiced closing costs. We figured all that out, what it takes to close on a house, and the different costs that are associated with that. If you're the seller, we figured out proceeds. We also figured out payments not only for principal and interest, but for tax and insurance as well. Okay, so the last part of the chapter here, as we walk through this, is the idea that we know that when we looked at the amortization schedules, that there's an outstanding balance on your home that you still owe when you have a mortgage. But as you continue to pay that off, you get more and more what's called equity in your home. So if your home is worth, let's say it's appraised at $150,000, and the remaining amount of your mortgage is $50,000, the difference between what it's appraised for and what you owe on it is the amount of equity you have in your home. So if it's a $150,000 home and you only have $50,000 left on the mortgage, you have $100,000 in equity. And what banks will do is, depending upon your credit rating and different percentages, you can borrow against the equity in your home. Okay, and they call this a home equity loan. You can borrow against the loan, or you can open a line of credit against your home equity. And the line of credit would be an open revolving credit, which we're going to talk about that in chapter 13 after chapter 14 here. Wanted to go to 14 first to talk about mortgages, but then we're going to talk about types of credit, and one of those is an open line of credit. So a home equity line of credit is an open line of credit that you can borrow against. It's called revolving. It's a revolving credit second mortgage loan. Okay, so both of these, home equity loans and the home equity line of credit, are called second mortgages because you have still one mortgage on your home, and then if you tap into your home's equity, you're going to get a second mortgage on your home. And that allows you to have cash in hand to use the equity in your home to maybe do home improvements. Maybe you have a large expenditure. Sometimes people will tie their debts together. I would always suggest that you be very cautious with any kind of debt. This is your home that is on the line. So if you default on your home equity loan, it's your home they're going to come after. They're not going to come after you. They're going to come after your home because that's the collateral you're putting up. And the same with the line of credit. So you always have to be very cautious with these, but banks do offer them. And so we're going to take a quick look here on potential amounts and the credit that's available to a borrower. All right. So we're going to figure out what these credit limits are. That's the max amount you can borrow based off of your home's value and what the bank is willing to lend you. All right. So most lenders set a credit limit for your home equity line by taking a percentage of what the appraised value is. Okay. So the appraised value of a home is somebody coming and saying, this is what your home is worth. This is what your home can potentially sell for. They look at market trends. They look at what homes in your area are selling for. They look at what other homes that are similar to yours are selling for. And they make an educated estimate on what the value of your home is. Now, depending upon the markets, that could change. If there's a glut of homes on the market, like lots of homes in the market, your housing price may go down because there's not a demand for homes. It is a demand process. What is the demand for homes in your area? If homes are selling fast, then prices are going to go up and the appraisal value is going to go up as well. All right. So in order to calculate out these percentages, so the first percentage we're going to calculate, and remember percentages, right? Do you remember percentages? The part divided by the whole, that gives us our percentage. All right. So you have to remember that as we deal with percentages. So we're going to calculate the percentage of the appraisal value. All right. The bank is going to give you a certain percentage. They're going to lend you a certain amount, what they're comfortable with. Okay. So the percentage of the appraised value that they will lend you is whatever the appraised value is times what the lender is willing to lend to you. So for instance, if your appraised value is $200,000 and the bank is willing to give you 80% of that appraised value, then they'll lend you up to $160,000 of that $200,000 value. All right. So that's how you find the appraised value. And then the potential amount of credit available to you, what you can borrow for a home equity loan or a home equity line of credit, ends up being the percentage of the appraised value. All right. How much? Like 80%, 75% of your appraised value minus what you still owe on any mortgages or any other loans against the home. All right. And that will be what you are available, what you are allowed, what's available to you to borrow. So let's put some numbers to this. All right. Let's practice. It says here, Terry owns a house that was recently appraised for $115,000, $115,700. The balance on the mortgage is $67,875. If her bank is willing to loan her up to 75% of the appraised value, what is the potential amount of credit available to Terry on a home equity loan? So how much would be available if she borrowed? Well, it was appraised at $115,700. So we need to know the bank's willing to lend 75% of that. So $115,000 times 75% is going to be $86,775. If we want to know what the line of credit is, if they're willing to lend her $86,775 based off of the value of her home, then to find out what is available to her, she still owes $67,875 on the house. So if we subtract what she still owes, because that is not equity in the home yet, that's somebody else has owed that money. Then we need to take the appraised value, the percentage of the appraised value, $86,775, and subtract what's still owed. So that would leave $18,900 left. So the bank would be willing to lend her up to $18,900 if she wanted to take out a second loan, a second mortgage, as a home equity loan, or open up a line of credit. Normally the line of credit would be up to $18,900, and then either they would give her a check or a debit card to be able to take money out as needed. So you'd be able to write a check against the home equity line of credit. They call those HELOCs, if you've heard that before, home equity, HE, line of credit, LOC. So it would either be a HELOC or a home equity loan. All right. I guess we won't call that a HEL, right? Home equity line. Yeah, they don't call them that. I'm just making that up now. But anyway, so that's how you would calculate that out. Okay. So let's just do a quick practice here. Try it, exercise 6. All right. I'm just going to do it here while we're here. All right. So hopefully you can get practice this on your own. If you want to practice, just stop the camera right now and go ahead and practice it, and then come back. And I'm gonna do this right now. So as we look at this, all right, the problem states Justin owns a home that was recently appraised at $92,900. All right, so $92,900. I'm going to write this down, is the appraised value. Okay, the balance of the first mortgage is $32,440. balance of mortgage. All right. If the credit union is willing to lend up to 80%, then we got to figure out, A, what's the percentage of the appraisal? All right. But potential amount of credit available. All right. As we walk through this. So, as we look at this, if they're willing to give 80%, all right, so if it's appraised at 92.9, then we want to find out what's 80% of 92.9. Okay? And we would see that 92,900 times 80%, which is 0.8. So that's $74,320. All right, so that's what's eligible. That's the percent of the appraised value. But then to find out how much line of credit that is available, we'd have to take what's still owed, and that's $32,400. I think $440. I didn't write my zero very well. So we would take $74,320 minus $32,440, and 32,440. All right, that gives us, they'd have a line of credit of $41,880. That would be the line of credit, a lock. Okay, so that's how you figure it out. Okay, so this is important as we walk through this, because what we're going to walk through next is, after we look at some of these percentages, what is available, and are you even eligible for these lines of credit based off of your obligations and what your principal and interest payments are now. Okay, so this is section 6, and next we're going to go to section 7. So I will see you on the next section.